In this video, the story is presented with subtitles for those who need them. If you prefer to watch without subtitles, please find the link in the description.
Chapter 1. Cornish Piskies. In the staff room of Penzance Secondary School. It is the end of the last day of the summer term. Amelia Edwards, the headmistress, is putting coffee cups into a dishwasher. She turns to Oliver Bailey, who is a PE teacher, and also her younger brother.
What are you doing this evening, Ollie?
I think I'll go to the beach and catch some waves.
Oh, you're so lucky. I have to have a meeting with Peter at 7 o'clock.
Beatrix Anderson, who is the school librarian, has been sitting in a comfortable chair reading a book. She looks at Amelia.
I'm pleased that you and Peter are talking to each other again.
Oliver nods.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's not what you think. We're having a meeting to talk about getting a divorce.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're breaking up.
Yes, that's terrible. I always liked Peter.
Oliver puts his hand on Amelia's shoulder.
Listen, sis, before I go surfing, I need to check out the waves. We could go for a walk on the cliff path. I promise you'll be home before 7 o'clock.
Oh, I don't know.
Oliver looks over at Beatrix, who is still reading her book.
Hey, Miss Bookworm. Why don't you come for a walk with us too? The summer holidays start today. Let's get out into that sunshine.
Okay. If you promise I will be home before 7 o'clock, I will come for a walk with you.
I promise.
Oliver looks at Beatrix.
What about Miss Bookworm?
If you promise to stop calling me Miss Bookworm, I'll come for a walk with you.
Okay. I promise, Beatrix.
They leave the staff room together. 10 minutes later, they are on the cliff path. Amelia is wobbling a bit on her high heels. Beatrix smiles happily.
All of us have 6 whole weeks off. It's such a lovely feeling, isn't it?
Definitely.
I would rather take my holidays whenever I choose, rather than having to take them at the same time every year.
Oh, sis. You're never happy, are you?
Oliver puts his arm around his sister, but she pushes him away.
I didn't say I wasn't happy. I was just saying...
I was only joking, sis.
Oliver looks at the waves.
The surf looks pretty good from up here. But I should go down to have a closer look. You ladies keep walking. I'll catch you up.
Oliver sets off down to the beach. Amelia and Beatrix keep walking.
Listen, Amelia. I'm sorry to hear about you and Peter breaking up.
Thanks, Bea. But let's not talk about my problems. Why don't you tell me about your plans for the holidays?
Well, I have an idea.
Yes?
I'm going to write a book during the summer.
Really? That's a great idea.
Thanks.
What will you write about?
I'm going to write about the myths and legends of Great Britain. There are so many wonderful stories from all over the UK.
I think a librarian like you is the best person to write a book like that.
Thanks, Amelia.
Suddenly, the path becomes 2 paths. There's a sign pointing down the narrower of the two paths. Amelia sets off down the narrower path. Beatrix looks down the other, wider path and looks unsure.
Wait a minute, Amelia. I think it might be this way.
No, it can't be. The sign says it's this way.
Amelia keeps walking. The path gets rockier and rockier. Beatrix decides she had better follow her. She runs to catch up.
I think this might be the wrong way.
Don't be silly, Bee. The sign definitely pointed in this direction.
I know what the sign said, but...
Dark clouds suddenly start to cover the sun. They both look at the sky.
It looks like it's going to rain, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Wow. Can you see those strange little lights dancing along the path?
Amelia shakes her head and laughs.
What are you talking about, Bee?
Beatrix looks again.
Oh, they're gone. Didn't you see them, Amelia?
No, I didn't see anything.
Suddenly, they hear the sound of running feet. Oliver runs down the rocky path towards them.
Ladies, you've gone the wrong way. This path is very dangerous.
Amelia turns to Oliver. She looks annoyed.
It's not the wrong path. We followed the sign.
Well, the sign was pointing the wrong way, sis. This path has been really dangerous, since some of the cliffs were washed away in the last storm. If you keep walking this way, you could easily fall off the edge.
Don't be silly. Come on, I'll show you.
Amelia walks as quickly as she can back towards the sign. Oliver and Beatrix follow her. Soon they are standing looking at the sign.
See? It points that way.
Yes, but that's the wrong way.
But why would the sign point the wrong way?
Beatrix speaks quietly.
I think this must have been the work of the Cornish Piskies.
The what?
Cornish Piskies are cheeky little elves who lead travellers in the wrong direction. People say they are tiny lights dancing around, getting people lost.
That's silly.
Remember I saw those funny lights?
Amelia shakes her head.
I didn't see them.
Remember I said I'm going to write a book about the myths and legends of Great Britain?
Are you? That's great.
Thanks. Yes, I'm going to write a book about myths and legends from all over the UK. And this is my first story. The story of the Cornish Piskies that led us up the wrong path. Right here in Penzance.
Amelia starts to smile.
Well, I suppose that is quite a good story. And it was right here in Penzance. But where will you find the other stories for your book?
Well, I'm going to travel around the country, visiting all the places where the stories come from.
That's exciting. You must be really excited.
Beatrix shakes her head.
No, really I know I'm too scared to go on a journey like that by myself.
Amelia looks annoyed again.
Don't be silly, Bee. Of course you should go.
Suddenly, Beatrix smiles. Amelia looks at her.
What are you smiling about?
Well, I was just thinking. I'm too scared to go alone. But if I had some brave and clever friends with me, I could definitely go on the trip.
Amelia and Oliver look at each other. They are both thinking the same thing. Oliver speaks slowly.
How about...
A clever headmistress?
and a brave PE teacher?
Amelia, Oliver and Beatrix walk slowly back to school. All three of them are lost in their own dreams. Dreams of an adventure and a summer of stories. Chapter 2. The Giants of Bristol. 3 days later, Beatrix, Amelia and Oliver are having a video call. They are all sitting alone in their houses. Oliver has a large black cat on his knee. They have decided that the first place they will go on their search for stories is Bristol.
The easiest way to get to Bristol is to catch the train.
Catching the bus is cheaper.
Yes, but the bus takes so much longer.
Okay, so is there a train that goes between Penzance and Bristol?
Beatrix is reading a train timetable.
Yes, there's a direct train. It takes 4 hours to get there.
Okay, if we want to go tomorrow, we had better buy our tickets. I will buy a ticket for myself and one for each of you. Then hopefully we'll be sitting together. Would you rather go early in the morning or a bit later?
Let's set off early. Then we'll have the whole day to find Beatrix's story.
Thanks, Oliver.
Okay, see you tomorrow morning at the train station.
See you.
Bye.
The three friends finish the call and go off to pack their bags. Then, the next morning, Beatrix and Amelia are standing on the train platform. Beatrix is carrying a small backpack and Amelia has a large suitcase. Just as the train pulls into the station, Oliver races along the platform, carrying what seems to be a large cage. They get on the train and find their seats. Oliver puts the cage on the seat next to him. Amelia looks at it.
What is that?
That's Mog.
Oliver pulls the blanket that is covering the cage and they can see an enormous black cat, which is definitely in a bad mood. Amelia looks surprised.
Why on earth have you brought that cat?
Well, I can't leave her at home by herself, can I?
Can't that girl you've been seeing, what's her name, Louise, look after her for you?
I hadn't seen Louise for months. Sorry, didn't I tell you that?
I'm sorry, Ollie. What's happened?
Oh, we were never serious. You know my relationships never are.
Beatrix laughs and looks at Oliver.
You sound just like me.
I thought you were seeing that dentist. Colin, isn't it?
A dentist. No wonder you have such good teeth, Bea.
Yes, I am seeing Colin, but we're not serious. We just go to the cinema together sometimes.
Oh, we are a bunch of old romantics, aren't we? One divorce, one single, and one who's definitely not very interested in visiting the dentist.
You just wait until we get to Bristol. Today's story is very romantic.
The rest of the journey passes quietly.
If you want more videos like this, then subscribe, comment and share our videos so we can make many more like it.
Soon the train is pulling into Bristol. Beatrix wants to go to a place called Blaze Castle. They have been sitting on the train for so long that they decide to walk. As they walk, Beatrix tells them the story of the giants of Bristol.
So, there were once 2 giants. They were brothers. They were called Gorham and Vincent.
Is it one of those stories where the brothers hate each other?
Well, at first they don't hate each other, but this is the romantic part. They fall in love with the same girl.
I wonder what was so special about her.
She was very beautiful. Her name was Avona. The River Avon that runs through this city was named after her.
Aww, I'd like to have a river named after me. Imagine the River Amelia.
They all laugh.
Anyway, Avona was the most beautiful giantess in Bristol. But she was not as demanding as some girls are when choosing a husband.
How do you mean?
She agreed to marry either Gorham or Vincent. But first, she challenged them to empty the lake that lay between Bristol and Bradford-on-Avon.
How were they supposed to do that?
They had to dig a channel all the way to the River Severn.
That sounds like hard work.
You would say that, sis. You've always been lazy when it comes to digging. You didn't dig any of that fish pond in your garden, did you?
No, Peter dug it for me because he knew I like colourful fish.
Oh, that's lovely. Anyway, you're right, Amelia. It was hard work. It was so hot that Gorham, who was lazy sometimes, drank a lot of beer, dug just a single channel, and fell asleep.
Gorham sounds a lot like you, Ollie.
Hey,
Meanwhile, Vincent dug a much longer channel all the way to the River Severn, and then Vincent and Avona were married.
What happened to the lazy giant?
Gorham was so upset he threw himself into the River Severn and was never seen again.
poor Gorham. Actually, I'm starting to feel a bit lazy. Where are you taking us, Bee?
Beatrix pulls a map out of her bag and looks at it.
The map says there should be a lake on our right-hand side.
They all look to their right and see a small lake.
So far, so good.
It says we should see a narrow track going up the hill.
Amelia looks around and sees a path. She points.
There it is! It looks steep.
They slowly start to climb the hill. Soon they reach two flat-top walls of rock sticking out from the cliff. They stop and catch their breath.
Wow! What is it?
This is supposed to be the chair where Gorham fell asleep.
It does look like a giant's chair, doesn't it?
It looks like a comfortable place to rest.
They pull themselves up onto the wall of rock. Beatrix lies down in the warm sun and closes her eyes. Soon she is fast asleep. While she sleeps, a young woman wearing a short skin-tight dress and dainty kitten heels comes up the hill and looks at the giant's chair. She speaks to Oliver with an American accent.
Hi there. It sure is a lovely day.
Yeah, it certainly is. You sound like you're from the USA.
Oliver jumps down from the chair and he and Avril walk off together to look at the view on the other side of the hill. Amelia smiles to herself and shakes her head. Beatrix opens her eyes and looks around.
Where's Oliver?
He's chatting up a very attractive American tourist. This is why Oliver likes to stay single. He likes to be available when attractive young women in tight dresses and kitten heels come along.
Beatrix can see Oliver and Avril standing very close together. She is surprised to find she is not happy about this. She speaks quietly to herself.
I guess I made the same mistake as Gorham. I got lazy and fell asleep in the chair.
Amelia looks at Beatrix. She thinks about how Peter was just like the hard-working giant Vincent when he dug a beautiful fish pond for her. But she asks herself, was Beatrix really like Gorham? She looks at her brother and his Avona and wonders just how romantic this story will be. Chapter 3: King Bladud and the Pigs. Amelia, Beatrix and Oliver are sitting in a cafe at their hotel in Bristol. They are drinking coffee and talking about their plans for the next day.
If you want to go to Bath, Bea, it's not far from Bristol. There's a cycle track between the two cities. It's an easy 13-mile bike ride.
Where are we supposed to get bikes from, Oliver? And are you going to hire one for your cat too?
We can hire bikes from this hotel. Some of the bikes have baskets on the front, big enough for suitcases or even a cat cage. The owners of this hotel have another one in Bath, so we can leave the bikes there.
Wow, I haven't ridden a bike since I was a little girl. I hope I can remember how.
Well, I need some more comfortable shoes before I do a 13-mile bike ride.
The shops are still open. Shall we go shopping?
Yes, well, if we are going to ride all the way to Bath, I will have to buy some new shoes.
Beatrix and Amelia put down their coffee cups and stand up. Oliver doesn't move.
I'm going out for dinner with Avril tonight, so I won't come shopping with you. I'll go and sort out the bikes for tomorrow, and I'll see you in the morning.
Beatrix looks at Oliver and tries to smile.
Okay.
Of course, she is happy that he has a date, and Avril was certainly very attractive. As they walk through the city, Beatrix wonders what she would look like if her hair was blonde and straight like Avril's. She pulls at her wavy, mouse-brown hair unhappily. Soon, Amelia and Beatrix find a shoe shop. Inside, Amelia picks up a pair of white trainers.
I don't usually wear trainers. I usually wear high heels. But these certainly look more comfortable than my usual shoes for bike riding.
They look perfect.
Amelia puts the shoe on her foot and walks around. Beatrix takes a pair of pretty rose-red kitten heels from the shelf. They look exactly like the ones Avril was wearing yesterday. Beatrix slips her foot into the shoe. Amelia looks at Beatrix in surprise.
Those don't look like the kind of shoes you usually wear, Bea. They are lovely, though. I used to have a pair just like that, except mine were yellow.
You're right, Amelia. I don't usually wear shoes like this. I would have to get used to wearing heels. But maybe I should get used to it. After all, you'll have to get used to wearing trainers, so I'll have to get used to wearing heels too.
Beatrix takes the kitten heels over to the shop assistant. Amelia lines up behind her. They both buy their new shoes. As they are leaving the shop, Amelia can't help but wonder why Beatrix feels she has to get used to wearing heels. The next day, 3 bikers are riding along the Bristol and Bath railway path towards Bath. Oliver has squashed Mog's cage into a basket on the front of his bike, and Mog is looking out of her cage with interest. Oliver smiles at his cat.
See, Mog, this is another way to travel, isn't it? And it's easy for you. You just have to sit there and enjoy yourself.
There are other ways to travel too, Oliver. Like the bus, for example. If we had got the bus from Bristol, we would have been in Bath an hour ago.
Oh, but this is so much more fun, sis. And you look just right on that bike.
Amelia is wearing her new trainers, and she, too, has squashed her luggage into a basket on the front of her bike. She looks at her feet with a small smile.
I have to admit, these shoes are very comfortable. Although they're definitely not as cute as Beatrix's new ones.
Beatrix looks sad. Her new shoes are packed into her backpack. For some reason, ever since she tried them on, her feet have been red and sore.
But now my feet are too sore and ugly to wear those cute shoes.
Beatrix looks unhappy as she remembers what Oliver had said when he saw her pretty shoes. He had said that they didn't seem right for her. This made Beatrix feel angry. She just didn't understand it. Oliver certainly seemed to like the rose-red kitten heels when Avril had been wearing them. He had been talking about Avril all morning, which Beatrix thought was really annoying. She was looking so annoyed that Oliver looked over at her.
Are you all right, Bea? You certainly look like you're doing a lot of thinking while you're riding.
Yes, I suppose that's the best thing to do while on a long ride. I just wish my feet weren't so sore. Do you think we're nearly there, Oliver?
Oliver points into the distance.
Yes. Can you see that sign over there? That's the end of the cycle path. That means we're in Bath.
Great.
Soon they are riding through the city of Bath towards the Parade Gardens. When they get there, the gardens are full of flowers that look and smell wonderful. In the middle of the garden is a large stone statue of a man and a pig.
That's King Bladud, the hero of today's story.
Why does he have a pig?
Well, when he was a young prince in 863 BC, he went to Athens and caught leprosy. When he came back to Bath, his dad, the king, sent him to prison.
What? Just for having leprosy?
Yes, so he escapes and finds a job looking after pigs.
Nice.
It was nice. Some of his pigs would bathe in a pool of natural hot water nearby.
Very nice.
Prince Bladud saw that the pigs that had been bathing in the natural hot water no longer had the skin diseases that the other pigs had. So he decided to try it himself. He bathed in the pool of special hot water, and soon his leprosy was gone.
Amazing. Did he still have to look after the pigs?
No, very soon he became the king. And after that, the amazing powers of Bath's natural hot water were celebrated by everyone.
I think you can still go in the natural hot water. There's a natural hot pool in the city. My grandma used to go there every year to help with her sore back. Maybe that's what you need for your sore feet, Bea.
So Beatrix and the others go to the spa pools. They bathe in the natural hot water.
This is wonderful.
It's just what we need after such a long bike ride.
Maybe I should tell Avril about this place. She's travelling around the UK too. I bet she would love it here.
Later that evening, while Beatrix is getting ready for bed in the hotel, she realises that her feet are no longer red and sore. She can't believe it. Just like for King Bladud, Bath's amazing natural hot water had worked its magic on her. She smiles to herself. Maybe now she could wear her rose-red kitten heels and look just as pretty as Avril. Chapter 4: King Arthur and the Bearded Lake. Beatrix, Oliver and Amelia are on the train to Snowdonia, Wales. Beatrix's phone rings. It is Colin Clary, the dentist that Beatrix has been dating for 4 months.
Hello, Beatrix. Where have you been? I've been trying to call you for days.
I'm sorry, Colin. I've been busy finding stories in Bristol and Bath. I've learned some amazing things about giants and kings and magic water.
Magic water? Isn't that a bit too silly to write about in a book?
No, it's not silly at all. I had really sore feet yesterday, and Bath's magic water made them better.
Sore feet? Well, maybe you're doing too much walking.
Actually, yesterday I didn't walk. I cycled for 13 miles between Bristol and Bath.
But you never ride a bike. You're not fit enough to ride 13 miles. No wonder you have sore feet. You should come home. You can find all the information you need on the internet.
I need to travel to the real places. If I see the places for myself, I can write a book about my own experiences. Like the experience I had in the magic water yesterday.
Don't waste your time travelling around the country, Bee. If you came home today, we could go to the cinema.
I want to travel around the country, Colin. I love travelling. And I love learning about all these stories. I'm not coming home yet. Today, we're travelling to Wales to learn about King Arthur and the Bearded Lake.
Okay, Beatrix. I have to go now. Bye.
Bye, Colin.
Beatrix puts her phone into her backpack. She looks out of the window. Oliver and Amelia can see that she doesn't want to talk. After a while, the train pulls into Snowdonia. Beatrix is not pleased to see Avril waiting for them at the station. They step off the train.
Hey there, Ollie.
Hi, Avril. Although I only saw you 2 days ago, it feels like it's been ages. It's so great to see you again.
Oliver kisses Avril on the cheek.
Since Snowdonia is such a beautiful place, I think we should go camping while we're here.
Camping? Really?
We can't go camping because we don't have a tent.
Despite not having a tent, I think we should go camping.
That's crazy!
No, Beatrice is right. Due to not having any camping equipment, I suggest we go shopping.
Even though Avril does not look happy about Oliver's idea, they walk into town and find a camping shop. Once inside, Oliver finds a tent that is big enough for all of them.
This one's great. It has 2 bedrooms, one for Beatrice and Amelia, and one for us, Avril.
Well, if I'm going to sleep in there, I will need a comfortable bed.
Amelia chooses some comfortable camp beds and sleeping bags. They pay for their camping equipment. Once outside the shop, Oliver looks worried.
Wow, we will never be able to carry all this. How far away is the bearded lake, Bee?
Beatrix looks at a map.
It's not far, but you're right. It's too far to carry all this equipment.
We might have to hitchhike.
Are you joking?
Well, it's better than walking.
Amelia tries to wave down a car that is passing, but it doesn't stop.
Wales is famous for its friendly people. It'll be good for us to meet some of them. I'm sure someone will be interested in helping us.
Well, I'm not going to wait around all day.
A large truck drives towards them. Beatrix waves her hand at the driver. He smiles at them and stops.
Well done, Bee. See? Welsh people know how to be kind to others.
The truck driver helps them load all of their equipment into the truck. They climb in.
Thanks so much.
No problem. Where are you going?
The bearded lake.
Oh, you must have heard the story of King Arthur and the Afanc, have you?
That's why we're going.
Oh, it's a great story. You see, a horrible water monster called the Afanc killed anyone who walked too near the waters of the bearded lake. King Arthur was asked to come and kill the Afanc. He rode his horse to the lake with some strong magic chains. He pulled the monster from the lake. Some say he killed the monster. Some say he set it free somewhere far from the lake.
Soon, the truck driver pulls in next to a wild-looking lake with tall plants growing out of one side of it.
I see. It does look like this lake has a beard, doesn't it?
If you have a look over the far side of the lake, you will see the footprint that Arthur's horse left in the rock when they were pulling the monster out of the lake.
Wow, thank you.
Beatrix, Amelia and Oliver wave to the truck driver as he drives away. Avril looks uncomfortable in the cool wind that is blowing around the lake.
It's freezing here.
Come on, Avril. You can help me put the tent up. That'll warm you up.
I don't know how to put up a tent.
Well, I'm sure there are some instructions somewhere. If we work together and go for it, I'm sure it won't be that difficult.
Exactly, sis. Let's not give up until it's done.
Oliver pulls all of the parts of the tent out of the bag. Amelia reads the instructions out loud, while Beatrix and Oliver follow the steps. Slowly, the tent takes shape. Avril stands, watching, looking unhappy and almost angry. Oliver looks at her.
Come on, Avril. Don't give up. The tent's looking great.
As Avril looks at the tent, the first drops of rain start to fall. Soon, it is pouring rain. Avril runs to the tent, and one of her rose-red kitten heels gets stuck in the wet mud. She pulls it out. The shoe is covered in mud. Avril screams.
Look what's happened to my shoe.
Oliver, holding Mog over one arm, looks out of the door of the tent.
That's okay, Avril. I'm sure we can clean them.
No, they will never be the same again. Why did you bring me here, Oliver? This place is a nightmare.
Oh, Avril, no. It's not a nightmare. It's just a bit of rain.
Yeah, rain, wind, mud, and a stupid story about a king and a water monster. Well, I'm not interested in silly stories. I'm going to find a hotel with a good restaurant and a hot bath. Goodbye, Oliver.
Without looking back, Avril races away from the lake. She calls a taxi on her mobile phone, and in less than 5 minutes, a black car pulls up and Avril is gone forever. No one in the tent, not even Oliver, is sorry to see her go. Chapter 5. Lady Godiva. After Avril left the bearded lake, Beatrix, Oliver, and Mog the cat had a comfortable night in the tent. Amelia was not as comfortable as the others because she didn't bring enough warm clothes. In the morning, Amelia has an idea. While they are eating their breakfast, she looks over at Beatrix.
Have you ever hired a camper van?
No. Have you?
No, I've never hired a camper van either, but I've decided I'm going to hire one today. I decided last night when I was too cold to sleep. I saw a camper van hire company just down the road. I am going to ring up and get them to drop one off.
That's a brilliant idea.
Amelia rings up and hires the biggest camper van they have. In less than an hour, a huge white van is pulling in beside the bearded lake.
Wow, that's the biggest camper van I've ever seen.
It is still raining, so they pack away the wet tent and everyone is very glad to be climbing into the big white van. Oliver walks towards the driver's seat.
I'll drive, shall I?
No way! This is my camper van. I'm going to drive.
Oh, please? I've never driven a camper van before.
Amelia shakes her head. She jumps into the driver's seat. Beatrix and Oliver climb in beside her. Amelia starts racing along the road.
Wow, you're in a hurry today, sis.
Well, we're going to Coventry today. Isn't that right, Bea?
That's right.
How long do you think it'll take to get to Coventry, Bea?
Beatrix pulls out her map and looks at it.
I think it will take about 3 hours.
No, we can get there faster than that. I think I can get us there in 2.5 hours.
A big red car pulling a caravan pulls in front of them. Amelia shouts at the driver.
Come on! Why are you driving so slowly?
Amelia points angrily at the driver of the red car.
Although, if slow drivers like him don't hurry up, it might take us 3 hours after all.
Who is our story about today, Bea?
Our next story is about Lady Godiva. Have you heard of her?
Oh, yes. The horse rider who forgot to put her clothes on.
Well, she didn't exactly forget to put her clothes on, Ollie. Although, she was famous for riding through Coventry with no clothes on. Her husband was the Earl of Mercia. He made the people of Coventry pay too much money in taxes. Lady Godiva wanted her husband to reduce the taxes. She complained every day. Finally, he agreed to reduce the taxes if she took off her clothes and rode through the streets of Coventry.
Wow! Did she do it?
Yeah, she did it. But her long hair covered all of her body.
She's lucky she had such long hair.
I know. Her husband passed a law that said everyone in the town had to stay in their houses while Lady Godiva was riding through town. They weren't even allowed to look out of their windows.
I would have definitely looked out the window.
You would have been sent to prison.
Amelia, who is now driving very fast, looks over at Beatrix, who is holding onto the edge of her seat and looking nervous.
So, did it work? Did her husband reduce the taxes?
Yes, he did. But his law didn't work.
What do you mean?
A man called Tom, who lived in the town, looked out of the window and saw Lady Godiva riding by.
Tom had the same idea as me.
So, did he get sent to prison?
Actually, it was worse than that.
What happened?
Some say Tom, or Peeping Tom, as everyone called him, went blind the very next day. And some say he died.
Oh.
See, I told you it would have been a bad idea to look out of the window, Oliver.
Oliver looks at Amelia.
You've been driving all morning. Can I have a go now?
No, you're much too slow.
I'm really keen on driving, but you won't share the camper van. Did you ever let Pete drive? Or did you always say no to him too?
Yes, of course I let Peter drive. He's an excellent driver. He's much faster than me.
Why are you breaking up with him then? He sounds perfect for you.
For a moment, Amelia looks like she doesn't remember why she and Peter are breaking up. Then, Oliver wants to stop and buy food. Amelia stops outside a shop and Oliver goes in. While Oliver is in the shop, Amelia has an idea.
Oliver is angry with me for not letting him drive. So now we're nearly there. Maybe I will let him drive into the centre of Coventry to find Lady Godiva's statue.
That's kind of you, Amelia. Oliver will be very pleased about that.
I don't think so.
Why?
I'm going to let Oliver drive, but only if he takes his clothes off.
Amelia, I don't believe you just said that.
Soon, Oliver comes back to the van with bags of sandwiches and takeaway coffees for all of them. Amelia smiles at Oliver.
So, Ollie, do you want to drive now?
Really?
Yeah. You can drive to Lady Godiva's statue, if you're brave enough.
Why do I need to be brave?
Because you're going to do it just like Lady Godiva.
What?
Without your clothes.
Are you joking?
You said you would have looked out the window at Lady Godiva, but could you be as brave as she was?
Of course I'm not afraid of taking my clothes off, but...
Then prove it. You can drive into the centre of town, find Lady Godiva's statue, then you can put your clothes back on again.
Oliver looks a bit nervous, but he is keen to prove that he really is just as brave as Lady Godiva.
Okay, but you have to follow the Earl's law. That means no looking.
Amelia and Beatrix try to look serious.
Okay.
We promise.
Oliver gets into the driver's seat and pulls off his clothes. Amelia and Beatrix look the other way. Oliver drives towards Lady Godiva's statue. Beatrix looks for the statue in the distance. But then, by accident, she catches sight of Oliver in the driver's seat. He looks like he's starting to enjoy himself. Beatrix looks away quickly, feeling angry with herself. Now she's a peeping Tom. Later, while looking at the beautiful stone statue of the brave Lady Godiva, Beatrix wonders if she will go blind now, or maybe even die. Chapter 6. Robin Hood. The next day, the big white camper van, which Amelia hired in Snowdonia, was being driven by Oliver, who was wearing all his clothes today. Beatrix was pleased to be able to look at Oliver again without feeling totally embarrassed. She looked at him and tried not to smile.
I can't believe you took your clothes off and drove into Coventry. You were lucky not to have been arrested.
But how do you know I really did it? You promised not to look.
Beatrix feels her face turning bright red. She looks away. Amelia, who really wants to be in the driving seat, comes to her rescue.
We didn't look at you, Oliver.
Oliver looks satisfied, but Beatrix can't look at him. For some reason, she is sure he knows that she is a peeping Tom. Amelia looks at her watch.
Come on, Oliver. We want to get to Nottingham before dinner time.
Oliver throws the piece of chocolate he is eating at Amelia's head. She throws it back at him. She is in a good mood today. she had a much more comfortable night in the cosy campervan, and all of them are very excited to be going to the home of Robin Hood, England's most famous outlaw. Beatrix is reading a guidebook.
I think the best campsite is in Sherwood Forest. It says they have a Robin Hood festival every year, and it started yesterday. It says they show different Robin Hood films on a big outdoor screen.
I can't remember any of the Robin Hood films, but it might be fun to watch them outside, as long as it's not raining.
The Robin Hood films are really good. Don't you remember? He lives in the forest with his merry men, and then, whenever any rich people ride through the forest, he takes their money and gives it to the poor.
Yes, I know the story. I just said I couldn't remember the films.
Well, I don't remember why Robin Hood is hiding in the forest.
They say he killed one of the king's deer. The Sheriff of Nottingham hated Robin Hood and was always trying to catch him.
How do you know all these things?
Because she's a librarian, of course. Librarians know everything about stories.
Well, not everything.
Oliver drives the campervan as fast as he can, so they soon arrive in Sherwood Forest. Oliver finds a sunny spot and parks the campervan. They all jump out.
We should get some exercise. Shall we go for a walk through the forest? We just need to remember to look out for outlaws.
Don't be silly, Oliver.
Amelia walks off through the trees by herself. Oliver looks over at Beatrix and puts his finger to his lips to tell her to keep quiet. Then he moves as quietly as possible towards Amelia, keeping himself hidden in the shadows of the trees. Carefully, he manages to climb a little way up a tree, and suddenly, he jumps out on his sister and grabs the purse from her pocket. Amelia screams.
Oliver! What are you doing?
I am the famous outlaw Robin Hood. I'm stealing your gold so I can give it to the poor.
There's not much gold in there, Oliver. Only a few pennies.
Oliver opens Amelia's purse and looks inside.
It looks like gold to me. I promise you, the poor will thank you for it.
You are so annoying, Oliver. Honestly, it's like being on holiday with a 5-year-old.
Oliver laughs and gives Amelia back her money. Later that evening, they decided to go and watch the film Robin Hood on the big outdoor screen. The three friends push a path towards a clearing in the trees. They can see the big, bright screen in the distance, but just before they reach it, they come to a fast-flowing stream. Amelia gets there first.
Do you think you can get across, sis?
Of course I can get across.
Amelia jumps from the bank, aiming for a small rock in the middle of the stream. But as her foot lands on the rock, it slips and both feet land in the water. Amelia shouts in surprise.
Oh, my favourite shoes.
Amelia climbs out of the water. While she is taking her wet shoes off, Oliver jumps easily across the stream. He holds out his hand to Beatrix.
Can I help you, my fair maiden?
Beatrix laughs and takes Oliver's hand. Carefully, she steps across onto the opposite bank.
Thank you, good sir.
The film is just starting, and they find comfortable places to sit on the soft grass. Amelia is carrying her wet shoes.
Thanks a lot, Oliver. If you had helped me across the stream, I wouldn't have fallen in.
Hang on a minute, sis. I asked you if you could get across, and you said,
Of course I can get across.
Amelia says nothing because just then the film starts and everyone goes quiet for a couple of hours, while they watch the adventures of the brave Robin Hood, the beautiful Maid Marian, and the horrible Sheriff of Nottingham. Beatrix sits next to Oliver and remembers that she should be sitting next to Colin. He had wanted to go to the cinema with her, and here she was, sitting next to a handsome PE teacher who had just helped her across the stream and called her his fair maiden. Beatrix tries hard to think of Colin as Robin Hood kisses Maid Marian, and the film comes to an end.
Oh, what a wonderful story.
yeah, it's a great film, isn't it? It's even better when watching it in Sherwood Forest.
After a while, they get up. Amelia's shoes have dried off now, so she puts them back on. When they get to the stream, Amelia still won't let Oliver help her, but this time she gets across without getting wet. Everyone is feeling happy now. But when they get nearer the camper van, Amelia can see that something is wrong. The side window is broken.
I think someone has broken into the camper van.
What?
Oh no. Do you think anything is missing?
All three of them run to the camper van and see that it has, indeed, been broken into. They search everywhere and, at first, they don't think anything has been taken. But suddenly, Amelia comes out of the biggest bedroom. Her eyes are red from crying.
I can't believe it. Someone has taken my wedding ring.
Really? But why did you leave your wedding ring in the camper van, sis? Why aren't you wearing it?
I haven't been wearing it for weeks. Not since Peter and I started talking about divorce, but I brought it with me because I didn't want to leave it behind. Now some outlaw has stolen it.
As Amelia cries harder, Oliver and Beatrix look at each other. They are both thinking the same thing. Could it have been Robin Hood? And would this outlaw soon be giving Amelia's wedding ring to the poor?